can zoom it into like that. And then it'll be between those two the rest of the thing. So I would be on the other camera while I'm doing that. So as they talk in, make sure you're on that one and then zoom in. So leave this like this for the first part. Got it?
got a bike going. Bike's going up there. I don't know.
Hey, Kimmy.
He's over here.
Can they hear everything we're saying? No?
Okay, what about when Hey, Chad, I got room. Can you hear me now? Oh. How do you turn it on? How do you turn it on? Why stand up?
Before we begin this evening's commencement exercise, may I remind each one of you to please turn off all personal communication devices in respect for those individuals seated around you and in honor of our graduating seniors. Please rise for the entrance of the class of 2018.
You're tall. Can you see my mom anywhere? She said, I know. She said in front of the 30-yard line. I see. Is she by Slough? Do you know the Louts?
Good evening. I'm Ronald Barenwald, principal of Cedar Springs High School. Members of the Board of Education, fellow administrators, Cedar Springs Public School faculty and staff, parents, family members, and invited guests. It is with sincere pride and excitement that we gather here on this beautiful evening with the class of 2018 for this, the 138th commencement for Cedar Springs High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and join the members of the high school choir under the direction of Linda Tata in the singing of our national anthem. Let us also remember the heroic men and women who have fallen establishing or defending our great country, and think of those who have or are currently serving in all branches of the United States military. Gentlemen, you may remove your caps. Will the audience please remain standing while the seniors take their places on the bleachers? And seniors, please remain standing. Need you to move your chairs in so they can get off the bleachers when you're ready. Class of 2018, you may be seated. Audience, please be seated as well. We have assembled several individuals on stage this evening, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce all of them to you. Please hold your applause to the end of the introductions. Beginning with the Board of Education, we have President Heidi Reed, Vice President Matt Schaffner, Secretary Brooke Nichols, Treasurer Shannon Vanderhyde, Trustee Matt McConnon, Trustee Jeff Rivard, and Trustee Tracy Slager. Administrators, Interim Superintendent Mark Dobiash, Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, Joe Spry, Director of Business and Finance, Rosemary Zink, Fellow High School Administrator Ann Custis, Reader of Names, Mr. Trey Reed, Commencement Speaker, Amy Holmes, Salutatorian, Michaela Tawney, and Valedictorian, Jacob Outwood. Please give them all a round of applause. I now call upon Mr. Mark Dobiash for the official welcome.
Thank you. On behalf of the Board of Education and the staff of Cedar Springs Public Schools, welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2018. I am the district's interim superintendent. A short time ago, I could not have dreamed of speaking here this evening. It's an unbelievable honor, having worked in the district only a couple of months. But it did not take me long to realize that Cedar Springs Public Schools is one amazing district. I can state unequivocally that there is no doubt that tonight's graduates are superbly prepared to meet the challenges that lie ahead. I have been struck by the outstanding programs that exist for students at all levels in this district. Consider some of the academic accomplishments of Cedar Springs High School students. The number of students taking advanced placement exams more than doubled. The number of students taking dual enrollment classes, that's where students take college classes while in the high school, has doubled. This is the first year Cedar Springs early middle college students graduated from Grand Rapids Community College. They earned an associate's degree before they graduated from high school. Great things are happening district-wide as well. Cedar Springs has a health clinic right here on campus. Do you realize that very few school districts in the state have a health clinic on campus? School safety is the priority, with state-of-the-art entrances and school security personnel on staff. Restorative justice is being implemented with fidelity in every building. Cedar Springs does not focus on punishment. Rather, the focus is on correcting, forgiving, and moving forward. This year, an elementary Odyssey of the Mind team qualified for world competition. Robotics clubs have been added to the extracurricular offerings, which already include top quality art, band and music, athletics, and too many other opportunities to mention. And the elementary schools are fully committed to literacy for all students by the end of third grade. This district has amazing staff and teachers. How do I know we have amazing teachers? In fact, in my first 2 months here, I have not fielded a single call of complaint about any one of our teachers. For a superintendent, that's unheard of. The support staff and the administration are extremely relational as well. Second chances given to students are not the exception. They are standard operating procedure in this district. The vision and the direction of the Board of Education guarantee not only a solid foundation in academics, but also a focus on each student as a person. And importantly, at Cedar Springs Public Schools, we know we're not perfect. As a school district, we know we have much to learn and we have much to improve. We continually strive to get better, and we're not afraid to admit our mistakes. Now to our graduates. First, I have to apologize because I have not met very many of you. But please indulge me as I share two very brief thoughts. First of all, I hope that each one of you becomes a lifelong learner. We tend to think of a lifelong learner as a person who likes to read, keeps taking classes, stays up to date on current events, etc. But the most important thing that each of us can truly learn is who we are and what we believe. The world is filled by too many people who get their views from cable news or what they read in the media or from social media. To steal from Dr. Phil, how's that working for us? We desperately need independent thinkers, and I see lots of independent thinkers before me. Certainly, you always be influenced by friends, family, and from what you see and hear. But I hope you take the time to ask yourself, what do I, as an independently minded, living, breathing, thinking human being, really value? What's really important to me? What do I think and what do I truly believe? Secondly, I hope that you probe the philosophical question, why am I here? Please embrace the idea that there exists a very important purpose for you. You are meant to do big things. You will continue to hone incredible talents, which you can then put to use for extremely worthwhile causes. Each one of you can make a meaningful, powerful, impactful difference. Never sell short the ability you have to change lives and help shape the future. Dream big. Believe that you have the ability to create your own destiny and to make the world a better place. So graduates, I offer my sincere congratulations to you. Cedar Springs graduates are renowned for accomplishing greatness, but I suspect tonight's graduates are going to set an even higher standard for those who follow. Thank you.
I have the honor of introducing to you this evening our salutatorian, Michaela Tawney. Michaela is the daughter of Michael and Carol Tawney. Throughout her high school career, Michaela has participated in tennis and golf for 4 years, as well as National Honor Society, having volunteered at both Engedi and Kindergarten Summer School. She has been a member of her youth group at Blythefield Baptist Church and has participated in 2 theater productions. Her academic awards include Academic Excellence, Perfect Attendance, OK Conference Scholar Athlete, and the President's Education Award. While in high school, Michaela has taken 7 AP courses. After graduation, Michaela plans to attend CMU to pursue a study of actuary science. With a 4.2708 GPA, I would like to introduce Michaela Tawney as the class of 2018 salutatorian.
Well, we're here day that most of us have been looking forward to, the moment we stepped foot inside school 4 years ago. I believe it would be appropriate to take a moment and give a few thank yous to those who have helped us on our 4-year journey. I'd like to thank all the teachers and staff at Cedar Springs High School. Without you, this accomplishment would be close to impossible. You have poured countless hours into these students and share a large part of their success. I'd also like to thank our community, our friends, and our family for their support, and without whom reaching this milestone would not have been the same. Lastly, I'd like to recognize all of you, my classmates, for all the hard work and dedication you've put forth in working towards this diploma. As I thought about what I wanted to say today, I reflected on the many valuable lessons I learned over the course of my high school education. The one idea stood out in my mind as one of the most significant moments during my high school career, a question that changed the course of my life. If you could say one thing to your freshman self, what would it be? So the majority of us, we have changed since our freshman year. I know, shocking statement of the obvious. We have grown up, learned many valuable lessons, as well as many useless ones. 4 years ago, I would have never imagined that I had been standing here in front of you, giving this speech at our graduation. I wasn't afraid of the hard work I knew that would be required to achieve the right GPA, but I would have been scared out of my mind. The thought of standing up and speaking to a crowd like this would have caused me to seek safety and shelter somewhere else. I lived in the land of fear, or what-ifs, where irrational thoughts dictated how I lived. These irrational thoughts often came to life in the classroom amongst my peers. Many times I would convince myself of things that held me back, that caused me to withdraw. For example, I convinced myself that I shouldn't share my ideas because they would be wrong, or I could face ridicule because of my convictions. I didn't try out for things. I didn't step outside of my comfort zone in fear. What if someone would look at me as different? What if I didn't fit in? What if I failed? If this sounds sad, it is. However, I know that there are many more people just like me who have, or still in the same mindset, gripped by the fear of what if. It wasn't until a mentor of mine spoke to me that I knew how chained to the fear of what if I had become. She asked me one simple question. She asked, "What good comes from believing these thoughts?" In the moment, I was dumbfounded. What kind of a question is that? As I thought quickly about it, the only answer I could respond with was nothing. For a vast majority of the time, nothing good comes from being held by fear and believing these thoughts that circulate in our minds. The what-ifs paralyze us and keep us from moving forward. We get stuck. Actually, I believe that at some point in our lives, we regret ever believing the what-ifs. I look back now and I regret some of the decisions I made based on these thoughts. They kept me from participating more in high school, from performing in musicals, and being a leader early on in my high school career. If we allow fear, these what-ifs, to be a major influence in our lives, we miss out on the calling of our lives. These fears, these irrational thoughts, keep us from doing things that could potentially change our lives. As our 32nd president, Franklin D. Roosevelt, stated in his 1933 inauguration address, "The only thing we have to fear is fear itself." See, fear is the enemy of change, the enemy of progress. Whether that progress is in your life, in your heart, or in your career, if we continue to believe these irrational thoughts that continue to whisper failure, we will miss out on the things that could be positive changes in us and those around us. My ongoing challenge to myself and my challenge to you as we move into our next phase of life is to not be paralyzed by these what-ifs. Yes, think through your steps, but don't get stuck in the spiral of them. Don't be afraid to step outside of the known and make choices that seem unnerving. When we take a leap of faith, we have the potential to meet with greatness. We have the potential to be everything that we were created to be. Release yourself from the chains and take the leap. Thank you.
Next, I have the honor of introducing Jacob Outwin, the valedictorian for the class of 2018. Jacob is the son of Ryan and Amy Outwin. He is graduating this evening with a cumulative GPA of 4.284, having taken 7 AP courses and receiving the prestigious AP Scholar Award. He received the OK Conference Scholar Athlete Award, both the Mathematics and Science Department Awards for our high school, the President's Education Award, Harvard Book Award, and the Congressional Medal of Merit. He had perfect attendance and was also the recipient of our High School Community Service Award, having completed the most volunteer hours of anyone in his graduating class, totaling 950 hours. In addition to his outstanding academic merits, Jacob was a member of National Honor Society, soccer, track, student council, and ALC for all 4 years of high school. He participated in our theater program for 4 years, in which he was the director for 3. He volunteered in children's ministries as his church, as well as being a youth group leader. He's a Boys State alum, NSLC alum, and has participated in the Kent Health Careers Immersion Program. Jacob plans to attend the University of Michigan to study movement sciences in the School of Kinesiology, paving the way to apply for medical school in a few short years. Finishing his high school career, again with a 4.284 GPA, I welcome to the stage Jacob Outwin to share his valedictorian address.
There are approximately 7.6 billion people on the planet. We may think we understand just how large that number is, but let me put it into perspective for you. If you take a penny for every person on the planet and array them perfectly side by side on a football field, you would have enough pennies to fill approximately 515 football fields. Or if you line those pennies up in a row, that line would stretch from Los Angeles to New York City, not once, but about 36 times. That's more than 3.5 times the circumference of the Earth. I did the math myself, so don't quote me on this, but I think you get the idea. Nonetheless, here we are today, just a little over 200 pennies about to graduate, a little over a single sheet of paper in a 515 football fields, a little over 4 yardsticks in 3.5 times the circumference of the globe. My goal is not to point out our insignificance in comparison to the rest of the world. In fact, it is quite the opposite. You see, inscribed on the tail side of each penny, you will find the Latin phrase e pluribus unum, meaning out of many, one. Serving as the United States motto, this phrase refers to the union of the 50 states to form one country. But today, as we prepare to part ways and enter the next chapter of our lives, I hope to give each of you a new perspective on this phrase. I still have a lot to learn myself, but I hope you acknowledge this advice I've conceived from those I surround myself with and the wisdom that they have imparted on me. Some 7,599,999,800 other people in the world, give or take, means not that you are simply another penny in the penny jar, but instead that you are part of a global community. It means not that you have to prove yourself to make your life meaningful, but instead that your life is already meaningful because you are part of something bigger than yourself, something bigger than your community, something bigger than your country. As we move forward separately, yet forever connected, it is more important than ever to understand and embrace the world around us. With this interconnected global culture we live in comes a great power we have at our disposal. In the words of the Greek philosopher Aristotle, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. This statement, paradoxical in nature, couldn't hold truer in terms of today's world. To me, this statement captures the power of the e pluribus unum philosophy. It captures the idea that the whole, the one, possesses a great force to promote change and improvement in the world around it. Classmates, I urge you, don't be just another penny on the football field. Seek to be an active part yourself of this one body and motivate those around you to do the same as well, because the one unit comprised of many has a capability to produce an unstoppable force for change, a force for good. Being an individual in today's world also means that you have a responsibility yourself to do for others what you would hope that they would do for you. that you do good to your fellow world citizens and embrace the differences that exist in this world between peoples. True knowledge comes from understanding. To me, and I hope to you too, there's little in this world that is more valuable than understanding other personality types, other communities, and other cultures. These are the types of differences I hope you strive to embrace as you go out into the world, because this variety in individuals produces the strength for the whole. There's only so much that one person can do, only so much that one person is, by nature, capable of exceeding in. So when diversity and an understanding of each other are embraced within a group of people, there exists no limit to the potential for such a diverse unit can have. Former United States President Woodrow Wilson once said, "We are citizens of the world. The tragedy of our times is that we do not know this." Well, class of 2018, we know this. Don't waste this knowledge. We are citizens of the world, and today I hope you go forth knowing that you are a part of many, and that this understanding may help you better serve yourself so that you can better serve those around you. So today, after you walk across the stage before you, I invite you to take a 2018 uncirculated penny from this bowl as you leave the stage. And might it always serve you as a reminder that you are part of a global community, that when we come together as a single unit, we can transcend the limitations put forth by this world, and that you have an important responsibility as an individual of this community to seek knowledge and strength through understanding. E pluribus unum. This, my friends, is my valediction to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacob and Michaela, for those inspiring messages. We all look forward to not only hearing back on what you guys do in the future, but all the graduates. Let's give this valedictorian, salutatorian, the class of 2018, one more round of applause. The class of 2018 has asked Mrs. Amy Holmes to be their commencement speaker. Mrs. Holmes was born in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but raised in Grand Ledge, Michigan, just a little west of Lansing, where she graduated from Grand Ledge High School. As a member of the 2001 graduating class, Mrs. Holmes had her sights set on attending Grand Valley State University, where she majored in Spanish language, along with receiving minors in English and Latin American studies. Since earning her graduate degree in 2005, Mrs. Holmes has continued her education with a Master's of Education in English as a second language and bilingual education in 2014 from GVSU. Mrs. Holmes applied for a part-time teaching position at Cedar Springs Middle School in 2006 to teach Spanish 1 and a drama class. She combined this position with a similar part-time position with Sparta Area Schools, teaching 8th grade Spanish. Funny thing is, when I practiced this, I said science 2 at that time, so my apologies, Spanish. In 2007, she began full-time at the high school, teaching Spanish 1 and 2 for just 1 year before her talents were needed in the English department from 2008 to 2012. Mrs. Holmes has been honored to teach 18 different courses for Cedar Springs Public Schools over the past 12 years. Currently, Mrs. Holmes teaches our newest course, AP Spanish, as well as Spanish 2 and Spanish 4. In addition to her teaching assignment, Mrs. Holmes has served as Spanish and class council advisor, world language department chairperson, and as a teacher consultant for the Lake Michigan Writing Project. In 2016, Mrs. Holmes organized a group of students to travel to Costa Rica, and then another group in 2017 to Spain. Currently, she's organizing a trip back to Costa Rica for the summer of 2019. By this point, it should be obvious to all of us that Mrs. Holmes is not only a teacher who is committed to her profession, but thoroughly enjoys working with students. She is married to the love of her life, Brad, and they have 3 sons and reside here in Cedar Springs. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to call upon Cedar Springs High School faculty member, Mrs. Amy Holmes, for her commencement speech to the class of 2018.
Hola, chicos. Class of 2018, parents, families, friends, faculty, Superintendent Dobiash, and Cedar Springs Public Schools Board of Education. It is an honor and a privilege to address you tonight. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to some of the people who've helped me in preparation for this day. They knew that I said yes to giving the commencement speech tonight, not because I love public speaking, but because I love this class. I'm humbled and grateful to be able to encourage them on their graduation day. So first off, thank you, class of 2018, for giving me this honor. Thank you to my friends who helped calm my nerves with laughter and encouragement. And finally, thank you to my husband, Brad, for listening, for giving suggestions, and for helping me along the way. I don't think I could have done this without you. You may not all know this, but I've had the opportunity of teaching this class for 5 straight years. These have been some of the best and some of the most challenging years of my teaching career. 5 years ago, I embarked on the adventure of teaching Spanish 1 at the middle school. Visualize for a moment, if you will, trying to herd cats. Lots of them. You now have the appropriate mental image for what that year was like. After that, I followed these same students to the high school and taught Spanish 2, and then 3, and then 4, and this year we had our first ever AP Spanish class. 5 years. Class of 2018, we've come a long way together. And even though I didn't have each and every one of you in my classroom, I saw all of your faces in the hallway every day for 5 years. I've watched you grow physically, academically, socially, and emotionally. I've had the immense pleasure of doing life alongside you. I've seen you at your silliest, at your most stressed out, at your very best, and at your very worst. I've given you countless hugs, wiped away countless tears, and given you countless high fives for jobs well done. Tonight, I don't plan to say anything incredibly eloquent, but what I do say, I really hope you hear. Don't miss it. Actually, that was it. That's really all I have to say to you tonight. That's the hope I have for each and every one of you. Don't miss it. In our society, there are plenty of people who are going through the motions of their lives and missing out on it every single day. It's the college student walking out of his class with his face buried in his phone. It's the woman scrolling through Instagram, living her life, wishing she was living someone else's. It's the student who's constantly chasing after being the best at all costs. It's the young woman who's paralyzed by taking her next step, so she ends up not taking one at all. I think that there are many distractions that can cause people to miss out on their very best life. The biggest distraction for me was always waiting for that big moment. I don't know about you all, but I love movies about the big moment. You know the kind, the big wedding, the big performance, the big record deal. These are stories that split time into 2, the before and the after, because that big moment changed everything. These stories are powerful and inspirational, so we're drawn to them. We want these stories to be true of us. The only problem is, in longing for the big moment, we miss out on the now. We miss out on the season we're in and what it can bring. I feel like I could never wait for that big moment to arrive. When I was in high school, I couldn't wait to graduate. When I was in college, I couldn't wait to become a teacher. When I was dating, I couldn't wait to get married. When I was married, I couldn't wait to have kids. And now that I have kids, I can't wait for date night. I've been waiting for the past 10 years for the Pinterest mom version of myself to emerge. No luck. Or the version of myself that thrives on public speaking. But the point is, we're always playing this waiting game. And as we wait, we miss out on now. Unfortunately, the big moments in urban myth. Sure, there are those Olympic gold medal moments, the Nobel Peace Prizes, and the book releases. But behind the scenes, athletes and scientists and authors have toiled tirelessly to lead up to that moment. They've worked out when they felt like staying in bed. They persevered through countless failures. They pushed pen to paper, even when inspiration wasn't striking. What appears to be a big moment is always preceded by endless hours of hard work and dedication. It's not wrong to want a fantastic story or to want to change the world. It's an honorable pursuit to want to live a life that matters. Mother Teresa once said, "If you want to change the world, go home and love your family." But that doesn't sound alluring. It doesn't sound glamorous or Facebook newsworthy. It sounds boring, and it isn't what we want to hear. We want to hear that the best way to change the world is to discover something new, to do something big, to be the first, to be the best, to be the greatest. The way to change the world, however, is much more monotonous. Leaving a legacy requires a mosaic of a million little moments. Jeff Mannion, in his book Dream Big, Think Small, says it like this: big dreams are only powerful when they're anchored in daily discipline. Be faithful in the ordinary, again and again. It usually involves us bringing ourselves to the same people in very similar ways over an extended period of time. We're infatuated by overnight success, and we long for a quick fix, but this is not how an effective life is forged. Actually, our lives are filled with moments in which we can choose little choice by little choice who it is we are to become. It's easy to miss because it seems so repetitive, so quotidian, so normal. But it's choosing to extend forgiveness and kindness in the little things. It's choosing to put in the hard work even when you don't feel like it. It's choosing to surround yourself with people who will encourage and support you. It's choosing to take steps towards healing after heartbreak or challenge. It's choosing to get off your phone and to stop comparing your life with others. It's choosing gratitude, even in the middle of the mess. It's choosing friends and family. It's choosing every choice, powered with integrity and selflessness and conviction. Don't miss it. Don't miss out on everyday opportunities to become the you that you want to be. But how do we do this? I think we do this by paying attention, by noticing our relationships and by honoring them. We do this by breaking away from our technologies for long enough to know that we exist and that we're enough without the approval of a digital audience. We do this by setting attainable goals that will help us get to where we want to be. My husband Brad speaks for a living. He speaks to people in their 20s and 30s, and more times than I can count, I've heard him speak these words to them: the decisions you will make in your 20s will shape you into the 30-year-old you will become. Guys, listen to this. The decisions you make now will determine the kind of 70-year-old you will be. For some of us, this is good news. We're making choices and setting patterns and embracing attitudes that will take root and make us people who live a life that matters. But for others of us, the habits and patterns and attitudes that we currently hold aren't healthy ones. We hold on to them, though, and we tell ourselves we'll change these things later. I'll become more organized later. I'll be a more forgiving person later. I'll be kind to those around me later. I'll stop comparing myself to others later. I'll be consistent and grateful and content later. We have the best intentions when we say these things, but eventually we move on with our lives without changing our actions and attitudes, and we realize that our laters really ended up meaning never. Right now, today, you are making everyday choices that will set the trajectory of your life. You're not going to wake up one morning and all of a sudden be a different person. We tend to think that a new job or a new school or a new environment will allow us to reinvent ourselves. Ralph Waldo Emerson said that your giant will follow you wherever you go. You can't escape your unhealthy habits and attitudes merely by changing your location or your life stage. It takes work. It takes practice. It takes repetition of choosing the right thing over and over and over again. Don't miss it. Don't miss the opportunity to make these little moments count. One of my favorite authors, Shauna Niequist, sums up the fallacy of the big moment like this. She says, today is your big moment. Moments, really. The life you've been waiting for is happening all around you. The big moments are the daily tiny moments of courage and forgiveness and hope that we grab onto and extend to one another. Generally, we don't even see them because we're too busy waiting to become whatever it is we think we're about to become. But the big moments are in every hour, in every conversation, in every meal, in every meeting. Class of 2018, I'd like to encourage you tonight. Don't miss your life because you're waiting for your big moment, your big breakthrough, or your big adventure. Instead, choose to live your best life now. Choose to extend grace, to live with joy, to serve others, to walk with humility every single day, knowing that those around you will know you by the sum of your little moments and of your daily decisions. Graduates, I'd like to invite you to take a look around the stands. Today was probably a whirlwind. I'd like you to press the pause button. Look at the people who are here tonight because they love you and because they're committed to support you as you move on from high school. Find their faces. Soak in this moment. These faces might be parents, grandparents, siblings, friends. These are the people who changed your diapers when you were a baby. These are the people who took your picture on your very first day of kindergarten. These are the people who know all of the stupid things you did as a kid. And for some of you, these are the people who know all of the stupid things you did last week. But these are also the people who will be there to move you into the dorms, to celebrate with you when you get your first job, to send you off to the military. These are the people who will pick you up as you continue to fail forward, as you begin to make your own way, and as you take baby steps towards the you want to be. Treat them kindly. Know that they are a part of your everyday, gloriously mundane. These are the people who make up your little moments. These are the people who make up your life. As U.S. Poet Laureate Mary Oliver gracefully penned, tell me, what is it you plan to do with your one wild and precious life? I encourage you tonight to live it well, in all the little moments, because the little moments really are the big ones. Chicos, don't miss it.
Gracias, Senora Holmes. And thank you for your flexibility and the highly effective teaching you have demonstrated at Cedar Springs Public Schools. I know the students have all appreciated and will benefit from your knowledge and wisdom shared this evening with them and throughout their future lives. I will now call upon the senior class leadership team and the representatives of the class for their farewell address. Senior class leadership, please come forward.
Where's our speakers? Do we have our speakers up here? They should be up here. Oh, dear. Mine's blue right now.
I get to go first today. Good evening, everyone. My name is Thomas Mativa, and this year I had the pleasure of serving as senior class president. 2 minutes, 120 seconds to make a lasting impression. Tonight, I have the honor of speaking to you all about making your mark on the world. Legacy is defined as anything handed down from the past, as from an ancestor or predecessor. It can be money, possessions, and/or life lessons. As I have yet to acquire either money or possessions in my 18 years, I will be imparting a lesson on how to leave a legacy. L. L is for life. P.T. Barnum once said that the noblest art is of making others happy. A life lived in service of others is noble indeed. E. E is for enthusiasm. In all that you do, approach it with energy, drive, and zest. You will be successful regardless of the expected outcome. G. G is for goals. Have a plan for yourself, whether it is short-term or long-term. Failure to plan is planning to fail. A. A is for accountability. Own your own actions, whether good or bad. Take responsibility and learn from your successes as well as your mistakes. C. C is for compassion. Treat everyone with kindness and respect, even if you don't necessarily like them. You never know when you could turn an enemy into a friend. Y. Y is for you, because it is in each and every one of you to lead, to inspire, and to influence as you leave your own legacy. After today, you are able to start with a clean slate. It is up to you, all of us to make those decisions that are true and from the heart, because in the end, it is those decisions that help mold our legacies. Remember, legacy is not leaving something for people, it's leaving something in people, just as Bryson did and just as all of you can do. As I conclude this speech, I want to send a heartfelt thank you to the Ricker family for allowing me the opportunity to be a part of Bryson's legacy. I am humbled, honored, and will work hard to make the most of this gift, and I plan to pay it forward as I reach my potential. Congratulations, class of 2018. Now, it is up to you. What is your legacy? What mark do you want to make on this world? Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Autumn Hinton, and I will be speaking about our sophomore year theme, unity. A 5-letter word, but holds a huge part in life. When I searched the definition of unity, I learned many different ways to describe unity, such as being one, harmonizing, and joining together. When I looked back at our past 4 years, I saw how our grade came together to support one another through sports, theater, clubs, band events, and in the classroom. When we lost a fellow Red Hawk, we came together as a family and let one another cry into each other's shoulders. When one of our own was diagnosed with cancer, we united together to support by donating pop cans, helping fundraisers, and sharing his story. When we had a chance to become fans of the week, or game of the week, or had one of our own trying to receive player of the week, we always voted to win those competitions. As our last year came to an end, we came together one last time to celebrate that we were finally done by bringing a root beer keg to the last day of school to celebrate in the parking lot. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Someone did a keg stand that's on stage. But anyways, in all seriousness, as a class, we have achieved so much more than we could do on our own. As we go on to our next adventure, just remember that you'll always have a home here and you'll forever be a Red Hawk. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Good evening. My name is Madeline McConnon, and I have the pleasure to serve as the Executive President for Student Council this year. Dear class of 2018, well, here we are.
It's graduation day, for those of you who weren't already aware of that. It is time when we reflect on the past few years and anticipate the exciting and bright futures that lie before us. It has been quite the journey to get here, and I hope that each of you are proud of all that you have accomplished. When preparing to speak on purpose today, I struggled to come up with a lesson that I could teach, a story that I could share, or anything that would be mildly entertaining I could use to fill the time. In all of my brainstorms, I always came back to two things: success and Ithaca. The first, success, is something many of us would hope to use to describe our futures. From a young age, we are taught that success is something that is vitally important to our existence. However, I would argue that there is no real way to define success. For most, I imagine the first few things that popped into your head when I said success were financial, occupational, and relational success. We, as human beings, long to live comfortably, to have great jobs with even better benefits, and to be in relationships that trigger the goals. We constantly compare ourselves to until our success mirrors or outdoes our competitors. But what if our purpose in life is not to be incredibly successful by the standards of the world, but we are made to be the ones that give selflessly in order to benefit others, or the ones that take lower paying jobs because it is what we are most passionate about, or the ones who sacrifice the appearance of perfect relationships for something that is raw and true. Our purpose should not be defined by the world's view of success. Which brings us to Ithaca. This past year in AP Lit, we read a poem entitled Ithaca by C.P. Coffey. And while I don't have time to read the poem in its entirety today, which I highly recommend that you do for yourself at some point, I would like to read a small excerpt. Keep Ithaca always in your mind. Arriving there is what you are destined for. But don't hurry the journey at all. Better if it lasts for years, so you're old by the time that you reach the island, wealthy with all you've gained along the way, not expecting Ithaca to make you rich. Ithaca gave you the marvelous journey. Without her, you wouldn't have set out. She has nothing to give you now. And if you find her poor, Ithaca won't have fooled you. Wise as you have become, so full of experience, you'll have understood by then what these Ithacas mean. Class of 2018, as we set out for our next Ithaca and our next goals in our lives, may we never lose sight of who we are or forget our roots, because it is inside of each and every one of us where we will find our purpose. And it is here in Cedar Springs, Michigan, where we will always find our home. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So, hello, my name is Milo Umphrey, and today I will be speaking to you guys about our theme this year, which was overcome. Not only throughout this past year have we overcome a lot, but throughout our 4 amazing years at Cedar Springs High School. Roughly 4 years ago today, we had just gotten done being 8th graders and were finally able to call ourselves high schoolers. We were so excited, yet terrified at the same time, because at the end of summer, we wouldn't be the big dogs of the school. We would transform into the little annoying freshmen. We were scared of the seniors that were way bigger than us. We were scared of how hard the classes were going to be, and we were scared of what friends we were going to lose. Overall, we were scared of high school in general, but we overcame that. We did not let the fear of high school stop us from making this place more enjoyable than ever imagined. In our 4 years, we tried out for the sports we wanted, even when some got cut. We auditioned for the play, knowing that some people aren't casted. We joined the club, not knowing what it would be like. And we took classes, unsure if we would get the grade we wanted. In all of that, we overcame the fear of trying new things and putting ourselves out there. We were uncertain about what it would be like, or if we would even make the cut, but we tried anyway. We took the chance that shaped some of us into the people we are today. Getting over the fear of trying something new wasn't the only thing we overcame. Throughout high school, everyone had their own problems and issues that they had to deal with. We had problems with family, weight, mental disorders, self-love, and sadly, death. But instead of turning away from the problem, we came together as a class and a community to overcome these issues. We never gave up, even when it seemed like the only thing to do was give up. We persevered and gave 100% to whatever had stopped in our paths, and this is what brings you all here today. Each and every one of you has overcome something to get you to this moment, and you should be extremely proud of yourself. But it doesn't stop here. As you graduate and move on with your lives, you will encounter obstacles that you will need to overcome. It may be the fear of something, a rude coworker, or even a loved one's death. But through it all, you cannot forget who you are. Do not change yourself in a negative way to overcome these issues. It will only make the situation worse. Other people will also be encountering obstacles as well. With that, they may not dress as nice as you, have as good as a job as you, or be as happy as you, but that does not mean you should change or you should treat them differently. They cannot help what they have to overcome, just like you can't either. So with that being said, as you move on to bigger and better things, just remember to always be nice, give a helping hand when you can, and smile at strangers. It will help you more than it will help them. Thank you.
Thank you, senior class leaders. You've done an amazing job this year serving your class and also supporting your classmates. Not only have you given back to this school, but you have shared your time and talents with the greater Cedar Springs community. Job well done. As a reflective moment of significance of tonight's commencement and the many years of memories shared by the class of 2018, I have called upon Mr. Adam Borst and the members of the band to perform a special musical selection. This is that time that Mrs. Holmes talked about in being in the moment and reflecting on what all you've accomplished, and for your parents to flash through all the years. This year's performance is entitled Ride. This piece was composed by American composer Samuel Hazel. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Cedar Springs High School Band under the direction of Mr. Adam Borst. Board of Education President Heidi Reed, and the members of the Board of Education. It is with great pride and excitement that the faculty and administration of Cedar Springs High School present to you the class of 2018. Of the 206 seniors seated before you tonight, 181 of them have met all the graduation requirements or program goals as set forth by board policy. And as principal, I recommend that each of them be presented with a Cedar Springs Public Schools diploma or certificate. We are also excited to have 21 seniors who will represent Cedar Springs' second early middle college cohort, who after the completion of the program next year will receive both their high school diploma and an associate's degree from Grand Rapids Community College. The Board of Education will also be presenting the 10 remaining exchange students that we have warmly embraced and learned from this year with their certificates of attendance. Mrs. Custis, Mrs. Cooey, and Mrs. Perro, please prepare the seniors for the presentation of the diplomas as the members of the Board of Education take their places on stage. I now call upon Cedar Springs High School alumnus from the class of 2012, Mr. Trey Reed, otherwise known as the voice of the Red Hawks, for the official presentation of the class. Please stay mindful that everyone wants to hear their graduate's name be read throughout the conferring of the diplomas. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trey Reed.
Row 1, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas. Madison Clark, Derek Chase, Tanner Anderson, Christopher Page II, Evan Young, Ian Savickas, Alexis Ostema, Danielle Zachman, Julia Empey, Dallas Mora, Noah Kendall, Gabriella Olivia Lamick, Xiyoung Jen, Alice Jelly, Luthia Ares Moya, Mumina Sisi, Nadia Williams, Jessica Judas, Emily Parks, Ariana Marcus, Riley DeHoff, Michaela Kneibel, Emily Taylor, Nikki Lee Tramper, Kira Reagan-Dersch, Carson Miles, Christina Karen, Michaela Boomgard, Annalie Renee Krupp, Emily Sue Nowak, Cece Maslin Ray, Kayla Burden, Jacob Porter, Row 2, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas. Joseph Foley. Chris Davis. Bryce Leonardson. Mitchell Patterson. Autumn Hinton. Paul Duran. Jeffrey Matthew. Brandon Kramer. Hunter Daniels. Patrick Michael Ellison Jr. Nicholas Scott Campione. Darius Marquise Urbina Barnett. Alex Antonio Cruz. Austin Robert DeCracker. Chase Longcar Kinzinger. Robert Wilson Burnett. Rudflor Winkles. Rachel Bowers. Mackenzie Rugg. Emily Hickox. Kaylee Jean Lauk. Molly Rose Johnson. Casey Jane Uhall. Jared Lee Ryers. Dom Topolsky. Carolina Puchkros Figueres. Claudia Susanna Kuakowska. Abigail Corinne Hall. Sky Elaine Pate. David Smedley. Joshua Hamilton. Sean Benson. Gavin Misch. Row 3, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas. Peyton Lee Elliston. Sophia Jo Millithaler. Brooklyn K. Andrews. Mila Umphrey. Julia Vandenhout. Erica Larson. Maddie Nichols. Carly J. Hyder. Jasmine Sushel. Riley Elizabeth Croy. Hannah Suann Kettler. Madison Lane Wood. Isabel Brienne Ellison. Dylan Shane Sanders. Jesse Hager. Anna Carter. Amy Catherine Cook. Bianca Peterson. Shelby Hugerhide. Emily Pasteur. Aitana Martine Gomez. Rachel Christine Prinz. Leslie Ann Hansen. Madeline Christine McConnon. Thomas Stephen Norman Matiba. Dylan Tanis. Haley Jean Lucarelli. Maddie Lynn Scheitel. Shelby Lynn Shotko. Paul James Burton Krajewski. Riley Hawkins. Eben Gardner. Blake Height. Avery Vavida. Benjamin Quisler. Ashley Leggett. Row 4, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas. Craig Lee Jr. Noah Howard. Nathan Childs. Joseph Wheaton. Jackson Billings. Nicole Elizabeth Kukla. Mikkel Lucille Murray. Alicia Ray Kelly. Liliana Lynn Hudson. Kiana Aaliyah Hunter. Heather Marie Beverwick. Cecilia Mary Brandt. Brianna June Bosch. Emily Jean Hyde. Madison Lou Fraley. Kyle Robert William Rittering. Madeline Rose Pierce. Alyssa Mackenzie Mason. Jordan Lyon. Jasmine Reich Tanis. Ashley Neve. Brianna Hayes. Stephanie Nozell. Reed Sella. Samantha Terrell. Kaylee Alexis Dewey. Haley Sue Halstead. Haley King. Jared Kniff. Gavin Baldwin. Jacob Pease. Austin Ritzema. Dustin Silliman. Row 5, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas. Dirk Stephen Zane. Lexi Alverson. Kylie Lauren Kent. Kaylee Besmer. Jordan Harthorn. Chris Schaefer. Caleb Beatty. Matt Lovell. Nate Patton. Jacob Galinas. Megan Shivak. Morgan Shivak. Kyle Sanders. Corbin Bessemer. Miranda Merlington. Anna Morin. Rachel Crystal. Julia Newlove. Taylor Whitmill. Devin Simpkins. Alyssa Marshall. Shelby Sells. Devin Ostrander. Brandon Owens. Reese Anderson. Evan Ream. Ethan Ream. Dustin Kronk. Kyle Heffley. Dominic Freeman. Jacob Bullen. Robert Kiphart. Catherine Crowfoot. And Arian Zavala. We have Noah Roberts. Row 6, please rise and step forward to accept your diplomas.
Was it on there somewhere? But it's not, again, in row 6 anywhere? No? Okay.
Diego Mendoza. Chadrick Josiah Brown. Moritz Lerch. Nick Price. Bryce Empey. Jacob Jarash. Roger Hansen. Parker Amell. Colton Gould. Avery Matthews. Brooke Knapp. Grace Dalt. Nicole Mosier. Madison Case. McKenna Willay. Kaylee Boomgard. Emily Slogter. Haley Arnold. John Jacob Todd. Brandon Swade. Jace Brackett. Jake West. Joshua Graham. Brianna Elizabeth Cheek. Sydney K. Plummer. Skylar Catherine Kaladi. Nicholas Allen Hibbs. Peyton Briggs. Sydney Elizabeth Ryan. Jesslyn Rose Signs. Ashley Lynn Knaus. Alice J. Cassavant. Adrian Selvage. Paige Kern. Cassie Oros. Haley Decker. And finally, we have Michaela Tawney. And Jacob Ryan Outwin.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are nearing the end of tonight's commencement ceremony. I ask that you remain seated and allow the graduates to exit the stadium. The recessional will follow the moving of the tassel and the proclamation. And we have a special treat for you this evening too, something new. I call upon the class leadership and class diva, Thomas Mativa, to the center of the stage for the moving of the tassel. As many of you know, this year, Cedar Springs High School was up for Battle of the Fans. And this class also was a big part of bringing forth the Viking clap.
Stand up, hands up.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct privilege to present to you the most recent graduates of Cedar Springs High School, the class of 2018.